Hey guys, Alan Lee here with Honestly Handyman Services, and I wanted to make a follow-up video of my video from last Friday, which talked about that maximum profit equals low overhead plus specialized skill. And there was a whole lot of comments from that video, and I really appreciate you guys' comments from that video. And first of all, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments in the comment section below of this video. I would love to talk and love to chat about your thoughts and ideas about this, and also about creating maximum profit for your handyman business. So that is the topic for today, but this video is going to kind of be a question and answer type video. I'm going to be referring to last week's video and looking at the comments that you guys left, and I'm going to be answering some of those questions. One of the questions that I posed in last week's video was I'm going to come up with a top 10 most profitable handyman jobs video, and it's going to consist of my top 10 most profitable handyman jobs that I do personally. So it's going to vary from place to place and different things that you do and different things that you specialize in. But these are definitely my most profitable handyman jobs. And if they work for me here in California, where the laws are a lot more stringent, it will most likely work for you in wherever you are. And the prices may be a little bit different, but things like that should probably all work well. So I had you guys, I posed a question of what do you guys think the top 10 most profitable handyman jobs would be using that equation of maximum profit equals low overhead plus specialized skill. And some of the answers were super awesome. Well, all the answers were super awesome, and I really loved your guys' feedback. I wanted to highlight a few of your guys' comments. One comment from Reno Guy 25. He had a question of, he had a concern of what I said about using the least amount of materials as possible, and that equals the most amount of profit. Now, I'm not saying to skimp on materials by any means. Definitely use all the materials that are needed for the job and use high quality materials. Don't skimp on anything in the job, especially materials. But what I mean by this equation is that for me, the highest profit jobs usually require the least amount of materials. So that doesn't mean that I'm leaving out this or leaving out that. I'm just taking jobs that require either barely any or no materials at hand. And then a few other things. The understanding of overhead was that it was the culmination of all your expenses that go into your business. So like if you have employees, if you have insurance, if you have a business license, your truck, your trailer, things like that. But in this equation, I'm talking in the realm of low overhead, I'm talking about materials specifically. And also that equates to having low overhead as an operating business, because I think that's very important. I think a lot of times we can be so consumed with getting jobs or being able to take more jobs, like in the instance of hiring an employee, that we forget about overhead, and we forget about how important overhead is and how much it plays into a business. So it's very important to keep your overhead low in that regards, but also in materials. That's what helps me make as much profit as possible, is I keep my overhead, meaning my operating costs, and my materials low, and that creates maximum profit. And then there was a question posed by this same guy that, say you go into an estimate and someone's outlet doesn't work. And going into it, you don't know what's wrong with that outlet, because all you can do is you can see that outlet from the outside. But how do you quote that? How do you go about that? So normally what I do personally, and this may vary from different people to different people, I write in my estimate that pull the plug out, diagnose why it does not work. Now and then go from there and advise on further needs. So say you pull that outlet out and you find just a loose wire. I go ahead and hook that wire back up, and if it fixes it, great. If it's wired correctly, then I put it back together, make sure everything works, and then we're good to go. And then the customer doesn't owe me anything else. But say I find out that that I need to go in the attic to do some more research. If the time is allotted for on the estimate, then I'll go up in the attic and I'll take a look at that. If not, I will advise that, hey, I need to go up in the attic and take a look and see if you guys have any junction boxes, or maybe some rats chewed through some wires or something like that. And then if you get up there and you realize that, that the issue's still not there, and it has to be but in the wall somewhere, then obviously you're going to need to upsell that. And I need to tear this wall open. And, it all depends on how you price things. Sometimes you price things going into, like, if it's a really old house and you know they have, you know, problems with stuff like this, you're going to sell it in a manner that, you know, you have enough profit built into that job where you can cut a hole in the wall and you can find out what's going on without having to upsell anything else. But normally what I do is charge a very low diagnosis fee. And I explain it to them up front, because communication is really key when you're dealing with customers. Is you want to make sure that they know exactly what they're getting and you know exactly what you're giving for the amount of money that you guys agreed upon. That's why I always give estimates beforehand, and I don't just show up and do the work right then. I always give estimates beforehand because I want there to be clear communications on both ends. Because if you don't have clear communication, then that just leaves room for big issues down the road. Someone getting their feelings hurt, or someone feeling like you weren't being clear with them from the get-go. So you got to make sure your communication is clear. Like I'm just going to be diagnosing this outlet, and then advising on further needs. And if it's anything else, we're going to need to go from there. So that answers his question there. Some other people like Ernesto Vega, he said, not drywalling in particular, but drywall repairs. Now, drywall repairs are definitely require specialized skill. So that is definitely one that I would recommend if that's something that you are fairly good at, is drywall repair, because you could definitely make some good money at that. Let's see. Texas Hustle says that he definitely specializes in drywall repair, and like we said before, not a lot of people know about that, so that is definitely something very good to specialize in, and do if you can do that. Mike Handyman AB says that what brings him the most profit is specializing in emergency handyman jobs. Now, this is huge. I mean, for me personally, I kind of made the choice a while ago that I'm not really going to tackle emergency handyman jobs. But I got a friend who lives in a couple towns over that's strictly what he does. He doesn't schedule anything out. All he does is do emergency repair. So someone will call him up, even if it's 11 o'clock at night, and they'll say, hey, my drain is not draining. Can you come take a look? And he's like, yeah, I'll be there in 30 minutes. Because he'll get there and he will give them a price that in the moment for an emergency repair is a good price, but really he's making pretty good profit. So there's a lot of profit that can be made in emergency repairs. It's all about establishing how you want to run your business. And that really comes down to establishing a good, successful business plan, which there's a course on handymanjourney.com that covers that specifically, that if you guys are interested in that, I would highly recommend checking that out at handymanjourney.com. And then Chop Champ says the best way to maximize financial profit is to be able to do some basic math along with visualizing before you even open your mouth and submit an estimate. Now, this is huge, because I learned this a lot when I first started out in my businesses. People would ask me, they want me to put up a ceiling fan, for instance, and they ask me right then, so how much is it going to be? I used to just throw out a price, $50, $75, whatever. And that most of the time, that was putting my foot in my mouth, because when I go to do the job, there's always something going on. So what I like doing is every time I go to an estimate, I say, they'll ask me how much it is and be like, well, I need to go home, I need to figure out this, do some research, and then I will write you up an estimate and send it to you via email. This really just makes a distance between, you and your price, is that you can go home and clearly think about the price. You can look at the whole job all together, and you could be like, oh, this guy wants this guy wants this, and this guy wants this. And maybe as a package, you can offer a cheaper deal than just individually. Or say if it's a really older home and it's going to have a bunch of issues, then you'll know, and you'll be able to think about that you need to charge a little bit more or whatnot. Martin Bracken said that you hit the top two of plumbing and electrical in last week's video. He would say cabinet making and tile work are next on the list. I would say that those are definitely high specialized skill jobs that you can do, is cabinet making and tile work. It's something that not a lot of people do. Well, I guess there's a lot of people out there that do it, but they don't make it look good. So if you can do that stuff look good, you can definitely qualify for doing that as well. I got another comment here. Someone who is in Sacramento that I would definitely love to talk with you. Let's see. So yes, this is another one. Let's see. Dan's Lam Yusik, he says that this equation obviously works differently for many people. He pointed out that I'm in California and I have a little bit more stringent limits on me as a handyman, and we talked about this before. So if you're in other parts of the country, you can definitely do things a little bit differently and probably make higher profit on bigger jobs that require more materials. That's definitely true. Again, this is just on my example and really what a handyman is classified as in my area. And yep, Pete the handyman, I will say here, I do not like painting. You kind of called me out on that, and yeah, I don't really like painting. That's why I kind of always dog on it. So, but if you guys like painting and if you guys are great at it, then go for it, because that is something super awesome. Richard Smith says locksmithing. Locksmithing is great because it definitely requires specialized skill and really not that much parts and materials. You just got to kind of get your advertising out there, because there are quite a few people who do locksmithing, and you know, I mean, a homeowner can rekey their whole house now with the quickset smart lock key sets, but there is definitely a need for locksmiths still, so that is definitely something that is huge. And you know, flooring can be another one, because that's definitely a specialized skill. And then JG said that another thing that might fall under specialized is tools. And this is very important, probably another topic for another video, is having specialized tools really make things a whole lot different. Like, for instance, when I first got started in this business, you know, I would always mess around with channel locks or whatever, doing under sinks. And then one of my plumbing friends showed me that tool that is like a 90-degree, you know, monkey wrench, and man, that thing changed my life. So there's definitely something to having specialized tools and having that available for you. Because, like, say for instance you have a power washer or a pressure washer and the guy down the street doesn't, you're definitely going to be getting all those jobs. So so I really love all your guys' comments on last week's video. If you haven't checked it out, the link for that video is going to be up in this corner, so definitely check that out. And again, leave me a comment in this video. Coming up this Friday, in 2 days, I'm going to be releasing the video on the top 10 most profitable handyman jobs that work for me and would also probably work for you. So be looking for that video, and I thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic day.